Hello everyone, so it's been a wee while since I sat down and had I guess a chatty sort of video. I think the past few videos I've had are more vlog style, which I really enjoy, but it is nice just to be at home with a cup of tea and also talk about all my charity shop finds. It's also given me a nice excuse to actually get semi-dressed up for the first time since probably my last sit-down video. So yeah, it's been a while, but it's so nice to see you all again. This is actually a December charity shop haul because obviously with lockdown in the UK, charity shops have been closed since, I can't remember when. I think since before Christmas maybe, and then they just closed since then. So these are all kind of old, sort of older things I've had, but the good thing is that I'll also be able to sort of review the purchases because I have had them for so long. I can let you know if I'm using them a lot, if I maybe regret a purchase or something, and I also have been doing a little bit of online second-hand shopping. So yeah, what else was I going to say before I started the video? I think that's it. I think we can... Oh no, I was going to say that this is the second time that I have tried to film this video because the first time I filmed it in, I think it was maybe end of January. It was still incredibly wintry and dark, so the lighting at the beginning of the video looked pretty good, and then by the end of the video it was all kind of grainy and really not great, quite dark. So I've actually invested, a small investment, into a ring light on Amazon. So this is the first time that I've used this, so we'll see how it looks in editing, but hopefully it'll be a bit more convenient. And also, if you haven't been watching my recent vlogs, some exciting news is that I have an Edinburgh flat now, but I'm still in Fife at the moment because it has no flooring, like carpets need to go in, and I need to buy a bed and couch and all that sort of stuff. So I'm quite excited because when some of these things were bought, sort of household things, I was still thinking at the time, oh, I wonder when I will get my own flat, and I finally have found one to rent. But anyway, that's quite a long intro. I apologise because I don't usually love long intros in other people's videos, but I just feel because I haven't had a sit down chatty video in a while that it was just nice to have a little chit chat at the start. I'm trying to think what we should start off with. The funny thing also is because I bought some of these things quite a long time ago, is that I actually forgot about some of them. So I've got a whole ton of books to talk about. Oh. Too many books to talk about. But yeah, a big mixture of a lot of kind of older books actually. I don't know where to start, but this is kind of the cutest book, I guess. It's one that my mum picked up. It's called Mutiny on the Bounty, and I'm pretty sure I've seen the film if it's the same storyline. But it's so sweet, and if I remember correctly, it's quite an old book. Maybe it's not this one, but one of them, we'll come to it later, has a stamp in it from the war time when they were trying to conserve paper, and there's a stamp in there. But it's a beautiful old book, hopefully you can see that. And it has illustrations in it, which I'm a sucker for books with illustrations. And I haven't got around to reading this one yet, but it's on my list, and yeah, it's sitting on the bookshelf just waiting for when I'm in the mood to read it. The next book in the pile, in no particular order, is The Silmarillion, or Silmarillion. I always say it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's The Silmarillion, by Tolkien. And I've been looking for this book for a really long time because a friend of mine said that this is her favourite Tolkien book. Tolkien? I'm just pronouncing everything wrong today. Tolkien book, and mine is The Hobbit, but I know that this is a very different style of book, so I haven't picked it up yet. I was just about to, and then all the flat news, and I can't seem to read sort of, I don't mean difficult books, but I've been just reading really easy to read books at the moment because my mind just can't seem to follow a train of thought. When I'm reading a book, I tend to be like, oh, I wonder what colour paint I'll get, or you know, that sort of thing. So this is still on my bookshelf to read, but I'm still really excited, and I really like the front cover. And then this is another book that's quite an oldie book, and maybe it's this one that has the stamp. One of them definitely has a stamp. No, but this is the Three Musketeers, and it's actually an abridged version, I believe, because I do have an unabridged version, but it's so big and I have tried to listen to it on Audible before, and I've only made it halfway through. So I just thought this is one of my sort of favourite movies as a kid. I loved watching anything to do with the Three Musketeers, The Man in the Iron Mask. All these were favourite films when I was a kid, and I still enjoy watching them. So I've been wanting to read it for a really long time, but I've been put off by the size. So when I saw this, I just thought it was a beautiful old book, and plus with it being abridged, I'll get through it quite easily, and then maybe once I've read the abridged version, I'll go ahead and read the unabridged. But the fun thing about this book is when we were having a look through it, we found an old note in it. It doesn't really mean a whole lot, but it looks really quite old, and it has so it says Miss V. Simpson and it says, "Dear Miss Simpson," or Mrs. Simpson, "could you please give me a note of George Costello's address? Apparently this was omitted when his parent filled in the TB card, signed RB." So I know it doesn't really mean anything, but I just love old notes like this. I don't know the context or the people, but I'm going to keep this in here as a bookmark. Have you found anything in sort of old books, or maybe something that you bought from a charity shop, some sort of box? If you found anything in it, I'd be really interested to find out, because I rarely find anything, but it's really a treat when you find something from the past. Next book, following along a similar thread, this is another old looking book. It's called The Secret of the Caves by Monica Marsden, and I've never heard of this story, but when I flicked through it, apparently, well, I get the impression that it's sort of a teenage book maybe, and it's quite similar in style to A Famous Five, which if some of you have seen my previous what I read in such month, I really am a big fan of The Famous Five when I was younger, and even when I reread it recently, it was a nice easy read that I really enjoyed, and this seems to be a very similar style, so I thought I'd pick it up. And maybe it's this one. Let's see, I'm still looking for that stamp that I mentioned. Aha, here it is. Book production War Economy Standard. This book is produced in complete conformity with the authorised economy standard, and I just read about this recently, so when I saw it, it was quite nice to find. I was like, oh, I have actually read about that and I know what that's about. But yeah, another beautiful old book that's on my shelf waiting to be read. And the next book in my pile is A Decline in Profits by Sulari Gentle. And this one I actually have read already since I bought it. This is the second book in the series of the Roland St. Clair mysteries. And when I bought this, I'd already read the third book in the series and really, really enjoyed it. It's a sort of adventure. It's following Roland and his three friends as they go about their life. In this particular book, they're on a cruise, or a ship going to New York, and then they spend a while in New York, and sort of people end up dying along the way, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and there's lots of mystery and intrigue, and I thoroughly enjoyed the third one, and I also really, really enjoyed the second one. It was one of those books that I kind of just felt like I was along for an adventure, which was really nice because at the moment obviously we can't travel anywhere, so this really felt like armchair travel to me. Would highly recommend if you just enjoy some wholesome, just a really nice tight-knit group of friends with camaraderie and mysteries along the way. And there is murders, because that's kind of, it's a whole sort of murder mystery series, but they aren't gruesome. Death does take place, but it's not really heavily focused on or described, so it's just sort of a cozy mystery. I really, really enjoy the series, and I'm actually looking out for the first book so I can finally, once I read the first three, I can continue in order. Right, so the last three books, well actually we'll talk about these two because they're on a similar, you can really see that I have a style of book. I like adventures, I like murder mysteries, and these two are another two murder mysteries. But yeah, I picked this book up when I was sort of hoarding because I knew that lockdown was imminent and I didn't want to be stuck without books like last time. So I definitely don't have that problem this time. But I started reading this one, but I haven't got very far. It's a modern murder mystery, which is quite different from me. Usually I tend to stick with the classic crime or sort of vintage mysteries. Actually, I should mention that this one is called Agatha Raisin and the Day the Floods Came by M.C. Beaton. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, that this is a TV show as well, but I've not watched that yet. And the other book that is along a similar vein is called After the Armistice Fought. And this is by Katerina McPherson, and it's a Dandy Gilver murder mystery. So I haven't got around to reading this, but I will one day. But yeah, it looks quite interesting, looks up my street. The last book, my word, this has taken a while, I feel, so hopefully if you don't enjoy books that wasn't too boring. But the last book in my collection is Ian Fleming's Thunderball. I'm not a huge fan of this cover. I much prefer, I think in November or October I got On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and that was a really minimal front cover. It just had a picture of the Alps, I think. But anyway, this is Thunderball, and I did read On Her Majesty's Secret Service last month and thoroughly enjoyed it, so much more than I expected to actually. Yeah, I really enjoyed the book. I'll maybe talk about it at some other point, but then I was really excited to read this, and I've just started it. And the fun thing I didn't realise at the time is that the two books have the same villain in it. So they both have Blofeld the villain. So this one's introducing him, and on Her Majesty's Secret Service he reappears again. So I didn't realise that when I was buying it, but it's kind of almost like a sequel. Okay, so that's us done with the books. Wow, that was quite a collection, and I still have so many books to get through. I'm not quite sure what to move on to. Maybe bric-a-brac, because that's always fun. Okay, so we'll start off with two things that come as a pair that my mum got. I don't know why I wasn't there, because generally we go to charity shops together. Maybe, I don't know, for some reason she got this when she was on her own just before Christmas. And they're two beautiful candle stick holders, and she was so well, I've been looking on the lookout for one of these for probably the past year, and I've not really found ones that I liked, and I've been keeping an eye out in charity shops for them because they're just cheaper, and I wasn't really sure how much I would use them because I just wanted them for sort of props or in my future flat. So when she spotted these, she knew that I would love them because I really like the colour green, and they're the exact shape that I was looking for. And she was tempted, she was like, when she saw them, she thought that she would just get the one, but because they were so cheap, I actually still have the price on one of them. They were only 99p per candlestick. So £2 for these is just incredibly cheap. Yeah, and I'm so pleased with them. Like, I was so excited. I think she maybe even included them for my Christmas present, maybe? Continuing with the candle theme, this is one that I got, when did I buy these? Maybe in beginning of February, maybe I picked this up. And this is a second hand, hopefully that's showing up. It's got beautiful texture. I need to look up the story actually. I'll pop the story on the screen because this jar was salvaged from a river in the Highlands, and the reason it ended up in the river is because there used to be a sort of house or a croft next to the river that got bulldozed in along with a lot of its possessions. So it's from a shop called West Coast Curiosities, I think, and it's run by a lovely girl called Charlie, and she had found these glass jars in the river and she's turned them into candles. So these jars have just been in the river for a really long time, I think, so it has all this beautiful texture. And yeah, I couldn't resist its story, and I just think it looks really interesting as well. I feel like it's not doing it justice on camera, but it is really beautiful. So yeah, I picked that up along with, I got these vintage postcards of from around Scotland, and I just love her packaging. I've already opened it, but I've tried to repackage it like she did. I don't think I've done as good a job. I've definitely not done as good a job. But I'll show you the ones that I got. I couldn't resist these. I can't remember how much they were. Maybe like £4 or £3, I can't remember now. But the first one, the reason I also was really excited about these is because I've been to all the places, so I thought it'd be really nice to pop them up in my house. And the first one is Stirling Castle, and this, on the back it says Valentine's postcard. It's just really cool. And then the second one is a photo of inside St Giles in Edinburgh. Hopefully that's showing up. And again, the same company. And this one is St Ninian's Cathedral in Perth. I actually haven't been to the cathedral, but Perth is one of my favourite places to visit in the summer as well. I've got lovely memories of visiting there with my parents and my grandparents over the years. Edinburgh Castle, and also a view of just Edinburgh in general, and the Scott Monument, same company. And the last one is somewhere that I just visited. It wasn't last year. Must have been the year before last year. Last year to me just seems to have gone past in a flash. So I guess, yeah, I visited this as part of a Visit Aberdeen press trip. I went to Balmoral Castle, and I just thought that was such a pretty photo of the castle. So yeah, I'm so pleased to have these. And along a similar vein, I picked up, so I've been over sometime last year anyway, I discovered a shop on Instagram called Quarters Home, and ever since then it's become one of my favourite online shops. I haven't ordered a whole lot from there, but I have loved following along, looking at all the new products. And originally she used to just stock sort of vintage finds, and this was one of them that was left over that I really like. As I mentioned, I love the colour green, as you can tell. And this is a Tams teacup and saucer, and I can't remember how much these were, but they were quite reasonable for being from like a vintage find online. I also got the, I think it's called a side plate, the matching one. That's all that she had left. I think originally she had maybe 4 cups and saucers, but that was all that she had left. I would highly recommend checking out Eleanor's shop if that's the sort of style that you like. I'll leave that in the description as well. But yeah, I'm so pleased with these. I wish that I had a whole set, but it's quite special just to have the one, I think, as well. So yeah, I think at one point, once the charity shops had been closed for a good 2 months or something, I was I was having withdrawal symptoms, so I was looking online to see what else I could get secondhand. And then, where are we? Okay, so I don't have any jewellery that I've picked up in charity shops recently, but this is something that I got my mum just as a little fun thing for her, as part of her Christmas present, and she sort of mentioned to me that I could include it in this video. It's a marquisite brooch. She really likes brooches, so I found this little bow brooch in a charity shop and just included that in her Christmas present, so I thought I would include it as well. And then I think we've only got my fashion pieces left, which are 2 jumpers. Here we are. We've got one beige one and one grey one, and because it's been quite a while since I bought these, I think I bought them maybe early December, I've had a lot of wear out of the beige one just going on walks. It's so comfortable, really nice and warm, not too bulky, which is perfect. But I haven't had as much wear out of the grey one, so I'm considering, once the charity shops reopen, to rehome the grey one maybe. But I'll show you them both. This one is, the grey one is Hardy Amies, 14 Savile Row, London. I'm pretty sure that these 2 jumpers are actually men's jumpers. I'm 100% sure actually. Be really good quality, and it does feel really good quality, especially before it was shrunk. And I love the pattern on the front. It's just a really interesting wavy pattern, but it's just, you know, sometimes you love a jumper on a hanger and you like the idea of it, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not going to work for you, and I just have that feeling about this jumper. So that's in the thinking pile. At the moment it's sitting in my sort of pile to go to the charity shops when they reopen to rehome it. But I'm also, because the charity shops won't be open for another month or so, I still have plenty of time to think about it if I want it. And on the other hand, this beigey coloured jumper from M&S, extra fine lamb's wool, also a men's jumper. This I've wore so much, and it's been perfect for going for walks because it's light, well, relatively lightweight. It's not very fine, but it's really warm and it doesn't feel bulky under a scarf and a jacket and everything. So, and it's a nice neutral colour. So I think I might just try this on to show you now. You won't get a great view of it, but well, we'll see. Okay. If I just maybe sit up a little. So there's nothing too fancy about it, it's just a sort of comfy, slightly oversized jumper, and I think it'll go really nice with like jeans or even a skirt. I think it could look quite nice. At the moment I've only wore it with like joggers out walking, but yeah, I might just keep it on for the rest of the video because I think that that's everything. I think I've mentioned everything that I've got secondhand over the past few months, which isn't a whole lot. I think I'll be going mental again when the charity shops reopen, especially because I can't wait to go to some furniture charity shops to get some secondhand like tables and chairs and I don't want to bore you. Mirrors, need a mirror too. But I'll be taking you along for that whole sort of shopping adventure as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I think that this is probably really long, like maybe half an hour, so I might cut it down a bit, but I really appreciate you watching if you've got this far. If you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that you all have a lovely day and you're taking care wherever you are and staying safe, and I cannot wait to be out of lockdown. I feel like the light is at the end of the tunnel because I think we're sort of coming out of some kind of lockdown in April, which is still a way away, but at least we have a date. But yeah, I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye!